Hi, I'm Marci Kobayashi, and I'm back again with another excerpt from my book, Finding Yoyu. And if you've been following along, then you know that in the last one, I had just picked up my husband from the hospital. He had had surgery for colon cancer, and on the way home, we stopped at a Shinto shrine so he could pay his respects. And he wasn't too happy with the fact that his father, Otosan, had joined me to pick him up. Anyway, we're on our way home now, and for this next section today, it's a little bit long, and I'll be covering basically the month of October. October 2015, and there are two journal entries in there. So if the it sounds kind of strange going into those journal entries, don't be surprised, and sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here we go. Managing the stiffness between Akira and Otosan was easier than I expected. After we got home from the hospital, they both went to their respective rooms. Otosan to watch TV, and Akira for a nap. Later, Akira came out to the living room for lunch and dinner, but otherwise stayed in our bedroom. Otosan did the same. I spent the day in the kitchen, getting organized and planning our meals. It was surprisingly peaceful, and I had a purpose. The next day was Otosan's first day of day service, and he was gone from 9:30 to 4:30. The term day service is borrowed from English and with a Japanese accent sounds like day sabis. Though it was meaningless in English, the term was common in Japan. Just about anyone living with or near an older relative knew the term. The service catered to seniors and in a way reminded me of preschool, meaning they could count on a day of activities and fun. People could go for the morning, afternoon, or all day. Going all day meant you got to have lunch and an afternoon snack, too. Some centers were focused on physical activities to help seniors keep in shape. Otosan's day service center catered to those who needed mental stimulation as well. His care manager assured us that they would be able to handle Otosan's stories and his sometimes altered understanding of what was going on around him. Not everyone liked going to day service. Okasan, Akira's mother, qualified for it when she was still living in Hiroshima, but she refused to go. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. I never knew for sure why, but my guess was that she thought it was a bit beneath her. Otosan, on the other hand, loved day service. That first day, he came back full of news. He couldn't stop talking about the people he met, the games they played, and how he had bested everyone. Otosan liked it so much that I wished we could sign him up for more than once a week. The center where he attended day service could only accommodate 10 people, and unfortunately, the only opening was on Fridays. Between the listening volunteers on Tuesdays and day service on Fridays, Otosan's schedule was slowly starting to fill up. Akira's schedule was still clear, and he wasn't expected back to work until the end of the month. So, when he wasn't sleeping or watching TV, Akira read books about food, health, and healing. Since he had been so busy in the weeks leading up to surgery, he was still working his way through the stack of books I had ordered for him. Now that he had time to do his own research, we started getting deliveries from Amazon daily. Hands down, the author that had the most impact on Akira's decision to go with a plant-based diet instead of chemotherapy was Dr. Hoshihiko Hoshino, because Dr. Hoshino healed himself of colon cancer with liver metastases following a modified version of the Gerson therapy. The first book Akira read about Dr. Hoshino's recovery from cancer was published in 1998. The fact that 15 plus years had already passed by the time we found the book and that Dr. Hoshino was still alive and healthy was compelling. Akira also read many books by Dr. Takaho Watayo, another Japanese doctor who popularized the use of juicing and a plant-based diet in healing cancer. Dr. Watayo had already published over 40 books, many of which found a place on our bookshelves, including the one where Dr. Watayo and Dr. Hoshino go back and forth on the issue. Since both Dr. Hoshino and Dr. Watayo were inspired by Dr. Gerson, Akira read several translated books about the Gerson therapy. I also studied the Gerson therapy and even signed up for the online course. Though we both agreed that the Gerson therapy was compelling, We didn't think we could adhere to the strict guidelines. To keep things simple, Akira decided to follow one main principle: you are what you eat. Unfortunately, he had been eating a lot of unhealthy foods for a number of years, and he wanted to rebuild his body sooner rather than later. To expedite his recovery, he followed a no-salt vegan diet, drank 2 liters of fresh-pressed organic carrot juice every day, drank Essiac tea to help detoxify, and included a number of vitamins and minerals to supplement his vegan diet. With the exception of the 2 liters of carrot juice, I did everything along with him. Akira didn't have a lot of energy yet, so I became the official juicer and he the official drinker. Sometimes I added fresh ginger, sometimes an apple, but carrots were always at the base of the juice. He never complained, even though I'm sure there were days when Akira didn't want to see another glass of carrot juice. Though the local grocery stores sold organic carrots, I had trouble finding enough in stock and started looking online. One day I discovered that I could buy them in bulk from organic farmers through Amazon Japan. The delivery drivers from Yamato got to know me by first name very quickly. Preparing the 2 liters of juice every morning took about 30 minutes from start to finish. Washing, cutting, and juicing the carrots was easy and only took a few minutes. However, I quickly learned that the pulp also had a lot of juice and it was a waste to throw it out. I tried putting the pulp into a cheesecloth and hand squeezing it to get more juice out of it, but that was a mess. Then I discovered where I could buy a primitive-looking hydraulic press that was made for squeezing the excess juice out of the pulp. Using the hydraulic press, I was able to get nearly double the amount of juice I could get from the same number of carrots. The hydraulic press was expensive, but we didn't go through as many carrots. I loved it and felt like I was extracting the lifeblood out of the carrots so we could pour new lifeblood into Akira. Journal entry, October 14th, 2015. How do I find my voice? I had a fleeting thought slip in as I shared in a Facebook group today. I was responding to the question about what I want to do, and I shared that I want to write a book. There is part of me that feels a burden when I think of stepping up and being a thought leader. Yet, at the same time, I think there's a part of me that feels compelled. But what is my voice? What is my unique perspective? I thought and tried for a long time to make it related to international education and study abroad. That mission could still be somewhere inside, but more and more, it doesn't feel like me anymore. If I'm quiet, if I'm still, what does the Marci inside want to do? Just before waking this morning, I was having a dream about Spider. I was in a restaurant and preparing to gather with some people. I can't recall who, but I knew they were colleagues from some work-related project. I was trying to figure out how to seat all of us at one table. My sister arrived and went and sat in the corner with 2 of our family friends. Before I could join them, I found a stain on the carpet and went over to clean it up. I showed the supervisor how it should be taken care of right away. I explained how if you take care of the stain when it is small, it will go away easily. Then I noticed a cobweb in the bottom corner of the floor-to-ceiling window. I went to wipe it away and was concerned because there was a spider alive in the web. Right then, I noticed the spider drop what looked like an egg sac, and I knew it meant that even if I removed the web, the spider would be okay. I noticed that the web was old, covered in dust, and even some moss. I knew the spider would benefit from rebuilding its web. Then I felt a little guiltier and concerned that instead of spending time with my sister and our friends, I was spending my time teaching the restaurant supervisor how to systemize the cleaning and maintenance so his staff could take over. Then I woke up. Strange dream. While Akira spent his days napping, drinking carrot juice, and devouring books by Dr. Hoshino and Dr. Watayo, I continued to research online. I wanted to find a like-minded doctor for Akira. I felt confident about what we were doing, but I also wanted some assurance. Both Dr. Hoshino and Dr. Watayo had clinics, but they were far away, so every time I found a doctor who had either written or translated a book that seemed in line with what we were trying to do, I would look them up online to see if they had a clinic nearby. Then, one day, I stumbled upon Dr. Shunichi Magara's books, and when I looked him up, I discovered his clinic was within walking distance. After Akira read one of Dr. Magara's books, we made an appointment to meet him. I went along and probably talked as much, if not more, than Dr. Magara. I appreciated being able to talk with a doctor who listened and was sincerely interested in learning about some of the resources we had discovered that he didn't already know about. Akira continued to visit his clinic every 2 weeks for many months so Dr. Magara could monitor his health. About halfway through October, Akira got a call from the dean. The university wasn't expecting Akira back in class until the first week of November. I assumed the dean was calling out of courtesy to make sure Akira was doing well and would be ready to resume classes. After he hung up, Akira called me into the bedroom to talk. The dean had wanted to know if they could count on Akira to head up the international committee. On top of his regular class load, he would have to take a number of business trips to college campuses overseas because they were trying to expand the number and type of study abroad programs available for the students in his department. Happy to be asked, Akira wanted to agree right away, but waited to ask my opinion. When I came into the bedroom and heard the news, I was initially against the idea, but didn't say anything. Akira was stretched out in bed with barely the strength to get through a full day without 2 naps. I knew he wanted to say yes and that it was exactly the kind of work he loved best, but did he really need to do it now, this year? The more Akira talked about the committee, the more excited he got. He started talking about his students and his classes again, too. He talked about the type of programs he wanted to create and which overseas campuses he intended to visit first. He had only taken a few weeks off for the surgery, and no one would begrudge him for taking it easy and saying no to the committee post, but I knew he wouldn't. That phone call from the dean turned out to be more important for me than Akira. I saw it clearly as another fork in the road, similar to the night 10 months earlier when we decided to move his parents to Tokyo. Looking at Akira, I had the wherewithal to say, "Okay, I support you 100%. However, if you want to do this, it means I have to let go of something. If you're going to spend more time and energy away from our home, then I need to spend more time in it." I knew instantly what had to go. Maybe I could have found a different way, but at the time I didn't see how I would have the Yoyu to take care of Otosan, visit Okasan, fill in the gaps when Akira was away, and fulfill my responsibilities with the government contract I had signed over the summer. In that moment, as Akira decided to say yes to the committee, I decided to back out of the big government project I had been so proud of landing. Akira was about to go back to work and embrace all things study abroad again, and I was about to put study abroad-related projects aside for good. My counterparts on the team had been patiently waiting for me to get past Akira's surgery so we could start the project. I was too chicken to call because I was afraid that I would get emotional on the phone, and I didn't want to give the wrong idea. I wasn't sad to be letting go of the project. More than anything, I felt relieved. I knew sending an email was probably unprofessional, but I did it anyway. Not surprisingly, the team I was supposed to be working with was nothing but supportive in the reply, and I was grateful. As soon as I sent the email, I felt a huge weight lift from my shoulders. I had no idea what I was going to do with my business, and for the moment, I didn't care. Journal entry, October 24th, 2015. Today, Akira is going back to work. His first official day is next Tuesday, but there's an event for his Zemi students today, so he decided to go. He's driving to campus with a few boxes of books and papers and will spend a little time in his office before he meets up. I'm happy he's going back to work. This quiet time at home has come to an end. I have some mixed feelings. I know Akira is physically in better condition now than he was before surgery. His diet is much better and his way of thinking has changed. His way of thinking about me has changed as well. I believe what we're doing is enough and that even if some cancer started growing in his body again, we have so many tools to figure out how to regain balance again. He is excited about diving into work, and I'm excited for him. On the flip side, now, finally, we both realize that I, Marci, do not have to push or mold myself into the world of international education and study abroad anymore. I started clearing out old files in our home office yesterday. I had a terrible allergic reaction to all the dust being shifted around. Step by step, I'm shredding and recycling all the notes from old projects. Yesterday was difficult because I was revisiting old projects that never came to fruition: franchising our school, a language camp, an online course for study abroad students. Why can't I get this figured out? I have ideas. I can see what would be cool for people, and then I get stuck in the production of it. I get tired out. I feel a little guilty and ashamed that I'm not already a millionaire many times over for the business projects that have failed. I find myself comparing myself to my old college friend Mana. How strange, right? Isn't she lovely? Isn't it amazing how she is helping people? Isn't it amazing that she found something she believes in and is using that to serve the world? I admire that and at the same time feel jealous and a little resentful. Poor Mana. She hasn't done anything to deserve that kind of negative energy from me. Perhaps my kind of special magic is the written word, being able to translate these feelings or thoughts into words people can understand. So here's a question, a general question for any woman like me who is searching. I am the light, I serve all being. How can I find my true calling, my mission? What am I supposed to be doing? Marci, you have a gift inside, and you do know this gift. It is time to open the package. Open it and do so with all the pleasure and savoring of each fold, each piece of tape and tie of ribbon. You can open this gift and use it, but you can also appreciate it. Hold the gift in your hands and feel the joy and gratitude for being given such a gift. You have a gift. It is time to open the package. There's no hurry. Savor each fold, each piece of tape and tie of ribbon. Honor your gifts. Okay, that's all for today. And the two journal entries that I included, the one with the dream and then this one at the end where I had from journaling slipped into doing some dialoguing with my spirit guides. I will probably keep them in the book because I've heard a lot of good or positive feedback from all of you, but we may tweak the way it falls in place. But I shared it with you today in the order that it all happened. And I just want to again thank you all for following me on this journey, and for those of you who are listening and helping me show up, people like Mitsuko and Barb. I really appreciate it. You never know how much it means to me that you're there on the other side listening. So thank you. And I'll be back next time with another piece. I warn you ahead of time, the piece from next week is also long and it's a little depressing and a little heavy, but we have to get through it. So there we go. Bye for now.